All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's Strength and Power. So in this video, I want to talk about Phil Heath and whether or not I think he can win 10 straight Mr. Olympia competitions. Phil Heath has stated many times on social media that his goal is to compete and win 10 Mr. Olympias consecutively. So as you guys know, the record for most Mr. Olympia wins is 8, and that record is held by both Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman. The previous record obviously was 7, held by Arnold Schwarzenegger, which Phil Heath has recently tied this year by winning the 2017 Mr. Olympia. So leading up to this year, before this Olympia, I would have said 100% absolutely yes, Phil Heath is going to win 10 Mr. Olympias, and Phil Heath is pretty much unstoppable. But this year, I think we saw probably one of the weakest versions of Phil Heath that we've ever seen on the Olympia stage in terms of him letting his gut go, in terms of him being off, and in terms of him leaving the door wide open to the other competitors. The other wild card factor in whether or not Phil was going to continue to win for 3 more years would have been Big Ramy. So we didn't really know when Big Ramy would be able to get it together and bring a package that would be good enough to rival Phil Heath, let alone beat Phil Heath. So now we've seen Ramy move up to second place. So Ramy has done enough to become a threat to Phil now. So can Phil hold off Ramy and win 3 more times is now the new question. So just to clear things up, I made some videos about Phil Heath and Big Ramy, and some people came away from those videos with the opinion that I think Big Ramy deserved to win. Now that is simply not the case. Honestly, I had Phil Heath winning at prejudging, and I had Phil Heath winning at the night show. I know Phil Heath's gut was bad, but overall, pretty much every single other body part that Phil Heath had pretty much destroyed Big Ramy's. You guys have to keep in mind that size is not everything. Just having a lot of muscle mass does not really mean anything. It's got to be separated. It's got to be defined. You got to have good lines. You got to have thickness, density, muscle maturity, proportion, symmetry. And Phil Heath has all of those things. He doesn't have to be 300 pounds because he looks so good at the body weight he's at, because he has that muscle maturity. He has that density. He has that crazy separation in his hamstrings and his back double bicep, his lat spread. Everything is just so perfectly proportioned. Really his only flaw is that gut. And that's the reason why I think he's not going to be able to win 10 Mr. Olympias, is because I think that the gut has gotten so far blown out and so out of control that I don't think he's going to be able to hide that and conceal it and make it look better for 3 more years. So if anything, it's going to get significantly worse as time goes on and as these Olympias go on. So can he keep it together for 3 more Olympias? I don't think so, because that's what he would have to do to win 10 straight. Can he tie the record of Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman and win just 1 more Olympia? Just 1. Now, I think that is a possibility. Can he break the record? I'm starting to think that that's not a possibility. Can he win 9 or 10? I don't know about that. But can he tie the record? I could see it realistically being a possibility. Whether he wins next year or maybe Big Ramy beats him next year, then he comes back in 2019 and wins the 2019 Olympia. Whatever the case may be, I think there might be a chance that Phil Heath could pull off 1 more Olympia. But at this point, I think it's starting to become less and less likely, as Phil Heath seems to be leaving the door more and more open to these up-and-coming guys. However, aside from Big Ramy, the other competition doesn't really seem to be much of a threat to Phil Heath. Even though his gut looked terrible, I mean, you had Sean Roden, who was previously a number 2 guy. Sean Roden's gut looked pretty terrible himself. And some people were even saying that Dexter Jackson, who has also been a number 2 guy, that his gut was looking pretty bad. So really, if we took Big Ramy out of the equation, I think Phil Heath could go on to maybe win 10 Olympias, because there's nobody else really knocking at the door. So the reason that I don't think Phil Heath would win 10 is because that I think Big Ramy is going to win the Olympia within these next 3 years, for sure. I don't think there's any chance that Big Ramy is not going to win the Olympia within the next 3 years, unless Big Ramy does something, extremely stupid, or he gets injured, or he loses a bunch of size, or something happens to Big Ramy that prevents him from winning. So that is my opinion, guys. I do not think Phil Heath is going to meet his goal and win 10 straight Olympias. I think Ramy is going to defeat him at some point. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.